What is happening? Welcome in on this Monday reaction show, everybody. What are we reacting to? Saints fans, sit down. Sit down. Take a deep breath. Listen up, Who Dat Nation. I'm just, you know this. I am not a big fan of the whole nation this and nation that. Every time I utter it, it is more or less sarcastic. It's facetious. Look them up. I don't like it when they say this nation and that nation. And if you want a real laugh, go back and YouTube. I think this is maybe like, I don't know, 2013, 14. When's the last time that Rex Ryan was coaching the Jets? 13? Something like that? Go back and YouTube Mike Francesa in New York, on WFAN in New York, going off on the Jets about Jet Nation. It's great. And I'll just give you a hint. Like at one point, he's just ranting and raving. At one point, he's Jet Nation. What is that? He said the Giants got 3 Super Bowls. They don't even have a nation. Take that, Jets fans. So nation this, I'm just saying it to kind of make sure everybody's listening. Look, Who Dat Nation, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. He'll play through it when he has to. Rib stuff is awful. Anybody who's ever had a bruised rib or anything like that, you know. Even like where the ribs connect, like up there around your sternum, anything rib related or sort of like that. Bruised, broken, oh, it's rough. Rough. But he'll play when he has to, okay? I'm just telling everybody calm down. All right, Reaction Monday. Welcome into the show. This is a live show, y'all. This is live and local. Local and live. I'm Matt. JB's here. See, I can prove it. He's live. JB, hey.
Hey, man. What's happening?
What's happening?
It's a good day to be here with you.
It is a good day, and it's really a beautiful day. You know, man, it's one of those.
I tell you what, I saw that sun come up this morning over number 18, green. A little bit of frost on some of the grass.
Right.
But, man, another day to say thank you, Lord, for another day.
That's exactly right. No, and today's one of those where, I really did have the sure enough thought that I was going to move the whole operation outdoors.
Oh, yeah? A little chilly, though, huh?
Well, no, it's actually not too chilly. It's really perfect for it weather-wise. It's just, I was doing other stuff, frankly. I was just doing other stuff.
Yeah.
And I was helping Annabeth a little bit this morning. Not a lot, but a little bit, clean out her car. Her old car that she drove while she was in college. She's kind of attached to it.
The family truckster?
Oh, yeah. She's giving it away, and it's a matter of like getting it in the kind of condition where that it would need to be
right
before you hand it over to somebody, you know.
Oh, I understand.
And she's digging through it. She's pulling stuff out of that car that's been in there for 20 years.
Uh-oh.
I'm not kidding.
Telling secrets now.
So I don't know if she's kind of emotional about it. She's a little attached to that car.
Can we get her on the show today?
Well, I texted her. I texted her right before we came on and said, hey, you want to come on the show today and talk about your car? I've got no response right now.
Okay.
Which is one of two things. Either she's busy or it's a no and not even going to respond to that.
I got you.
That's one or the other.
Well, from one wife of the host to the wife of the producer, if we get a chance at some point today before 3 o'clock, I have a fish story that I would like to tell you about my wife and my daughter.
Really?
Yes. I think you will find it very entertaining, to say the least.
Big fish? Did it involve a big fish? But it's just fishing related.
No. It involved a fish that got out of an aquarium.
Oh, yes. Flopping around, all that kind of stuff?
Well, wasn't flopping a whole lot when they walked in the door.
They're just hanging on by a thread.
Matter of fact, couldn't find the fish.
All right, so let's get into it. It.
I'll give you the Reader's Digest. So I'm at Live Oaks working yesterday, and I look at my wife's Instagram, and she's got this series of videos and pictures about my son's large goldfish that somehow ended up on the floor in our house.
Yeah.
they had been to some Christmas things around Clinton's Old Town and came in, and my daughter said, "Mom, where's the fish?" And Leanne looked at her and said, "This should be in the tank, not in there."
No, let me just say this, by the way. Side note.
Right.
If you are a fish owner and it's at your house and you ever have to ask the question, where is the fish? You've already got big problems. All right, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, my daughter makes the way into the den, and there is said fish, and she screamed. And my wife thought something had happened. She came running around the corner. And so this video series shows my wife using a spatula to kind of pick the fish up, put it back in this little bitty aquarium. And fortunately, when I got home last night after closing up shop, the fish was fine.
He's fine. Around. He's swimming around. He jumped out of the bowl.
Right. But my wife said when she got to school this morning, she was met by every teacher on her hallway.
Yeah.
Clapping and applauding because they called her the fish whisperer.
The fish whisperer. Where's the video?
Yeah, it's on her Instagram.
Okay.
So,
have you shared it?
I have not, but I will. I'll tag you on it. How about that?
Do that. Tag me on it. He's Dr. Brojo. I'm Radio Wyatt on Instagram. That's great. I can't wait to see it. The fish that lived to jump another day.
I mean, I was thinking the fish wanted to get out and see DJ win the Masters.
That's great. Maybe he, like DJ, was overcome with emotion. All right, so we have a new Masters champion, new green jacket, DJ. Dustin Johnson, he's your winner. The Rebels outscored the Gamecocks, and that's a great way to describe that game. We'll take your reactions to that on this Monday. The Saints held on. Do what you got to do, man. Do what you have to do. Now, the question is about Drew. Can Drew do what Drew can do going forward? Will the ribs allow him to do it? We'll just keep an eye on it and see. But you win. You never apologize for winning. You're just glad to get it. A win is a win. Now you move on to the next one. Just keep chopping wood, Saints fans. Who dat? Hello to everybody tuning in on the live stream. We are live today. You can't see me, but you can hear me. You can see all of our fine sponsors, including Nest and Wild. If you're having a hard time sleeping, if you need a new mattress, please trust me on this. Go to nestandwild.com. You'll be glad you did. Great Mississippi company. On the live stream, Joy says, a beautiful day in Hernando. Hats off, by the way, to I hope I get this right, the Hernando Tigers. Are they Tigers? The Hernando Tigers for a huge win over South Panola in the playoffs on Friday night. So hi to you, Joy. Thomas is tuning in today from St. Jude. Hey, Thomas. Y'all hang in there. Hope everything's going okay. Vern is listening and watching the Facebook live stream in Melbourne, Florida. And then Paul says, pool cleaning day. He's out there cleaning out the pool. Yeah, that's right. Clean it out. Put that tarp over it if you haven't already. The neighbors around here have a tarp over the pool. And then hey to everybody on the Country Please and text line. Country Please and sausage on grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. It is 885 ESPN 601 number 885 ESPN. If you need the number itself, it's 885-3776. The first to text us today is Grumpy, and he says, Matt, had a great Masters weekend. Even enjoyed the Ole Miss football game. Sorry to hear no Texas A&M game this week. That's right, they canceled it. How about Jackson Academy's win over Prep? All right. Look at all the ground we're covering in Grumpy's text, all right? Masters. Then he mentions Ole Miss. Then the Texas A&M Ole Miss game postponed, not happening this week. Ole Miss gets a week off unless somebody pops in there on the schedule. And then he's going JA with the win over Prep. Look out, MRA. You're going to have that championship game this weekend, Saturday. They're going to play Prep and MRA and JA are going to play the title game at Veterans Memorial Stadium. I saw that this weekend. But Grumpy said, back to the Masters. I was impressed with Dustin Johnson's humbleness and emotion in one of his post-round interviews. He even mentioned our Savior, whom I hope he will consult more in the future. God bless America. That's from Grumpy. Good text to start us off today. Yeah, thanks a lot. So let me see, like in terms of, well, I'll tell you what, we got to put the reaction on hold just for a second because there's a little bit of breaking news regarding the Egg Bowl. This popped out there on Twitter just a minute ago. the schedule for Thanksgiving week, the football schedule for Thanksgiving week is out. And the Egg Bowl between State and Ole Miss in Oxford is going to be at 3 p.m. Central Time, Saturday, November 28th, on the SEC Network. Not a night game. It'll be an afternoon game. It'll be very unusual. When is the last time we had an afternoon Egg Bowl?
I don't know, but I'm a big fan.
I'm trying to think, JB. Would it have been all right? Let me just think here. All right, man. Rack your brain here. I guess 2009. 2009. That was Dan Mullen's first year, and you'll remember that was a game where you're playing in the daylight. The majority of the game, or if not the whole game, was in the daylight. I don't know if it was an 11 a.m. I just don't remember. But it was sometime in the middle of the day. But 2010, night game, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, that'd be the last one. So 2009, the last time you had daylight for the Egg Bowl. We'll have it here for a few hours anyway. Wait a minute. Hold on. There's another one in there somewhere. I'm trying to think. It was in Oxford in about... That's it. 2016. That's it, Owen. You got it. Owen on the Facebook reminded me there. On the Facebook live stream reminded me 2016. That was an afternoon game. That's right. It was in Oxford. State won it big, 55-20. So it finished in the dark. That was a game that that Nick Fitzgerald just went slam off running the football in that ball game. But you're right. Now I'm picturing certain plays in the game, and I can see it in my head now. It's in the daylight. So anyway, you're going to have a daytime kickoff for the Egg Bowl. There's your breaking news. While I've got it here pulled up, they just put it out here. So this is not this week, but next. So the week of Thanksgiving. All these games are on Saturday, November 28th. So the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Arkansas at Missouri, 11 a.m. on the SEC Network. Also at 11 on ESPN that weekend, Florida will host Kentucky. The 2:30 CBS game, of course, is the Iron Bowl, Auburn at Alabama. The aforementioned Egg Bowl at 3 o'clock on the SEC Network. That night, Saturday, November 28th, 6 o'clock on ESPN, you'll have Texas A&M hosting LSU. 6:30 on the SEC Network Thanksgiving weekend, you'll have South Carolina hosting Georgia. And then Tennessee at Vanderbilt is also at 6:30, but it's SEC alternate channel right there. So that's how that's shaking out. And, hey, speaking of South Carolina, so they're looking for a new coach. We just got that word, official this morning?
I heard it late last night.
Yeah.
That they had let him go. And, of course, my phone started buzzing.
Well, and we've been hearing about it for weeks, I guess. The rumor.
Yeah. Well, you and Clay Travis had been pretty neck and neck in regards to just the reasons for not firing a coach in this COVID year.
Yeah.
Both of you were very well documented. And so it was a big shock to him. And especially, you're going to pay me almost $15 million not to work?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Where do you sign up for that?
Well, this is what it is. His AD at South Carolina is a former coach, Ray Tanner, former baseball coach.
Yeah.
And the only way, there's no other chance. The only way that they have gone ahead and relieved him of his duties is he has the next guy lined up. Whoever that is, he's lined up. And I'm sure he's coaching somewhere. Whether or not you find it out immediately, I don't know. But let me tell you what is not happening. South Carolina is not hiring Hugh Freeze.
Come on now.
South Carolina is not hiring Hugh Freeze.
You just made a bunch of Auburn fans happy.
No SEC school is hiring Hugh Freeze anytime in the near future. Sorry, Auburn fans, South Carolina fans, it's not happening. Not happening. Here's an article. And good job on Brandon Marcello, who's now working for 24/7 Sports. He went out and got a quote from him. He just tweeted it. Exclusive. Everything. JB, have you ever seen Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis?
Yeah. Yes. One of my favorite actors, man.
He has that internet thing between two ferns, and so every time I see the word exclusive, all I do is I can hear his voice. He voiced it over and went, exclusive. You whispered it. All right, exclusive. And you click on the link here at 24/7 Sports. Brandon interviewed Hugh Freeze. It says Hugh Freeze addresses South Carolina rumors. Look, from Brandon Marcello 6 minutes ago, never say never in the coaching profession. Liberty coach Hugh Freeze not shying away from the possibility of potentially jumping for a bigger job even after this season as he leads the number 21 Flames 8-0 into the biggest game in school history this week against NC State. The recent opening at South Carolina is certainly a hot topic, on and on and on. Here we go. Here's the quote, Hugh Freeze. Man, the first thing is I have no clue if anybody wants me or not except for Liberty. And so I'm thankful for Liberty. I know this, and my wife keeps me grounded on this. I live where my feet are, and my total focus is on our team here, getting them ready for NC State and building this program. He says, I've been honest with them and our administration here in saying that it would take something really, really special for me to even consider leaving here, and I mean that. He said, I have no idea if anybody even would want to talk to me, and that's okay. I'm at peace with that, so I'm happy right where I'm at. And at total peace. Got great friends here, great staff, great kids, great administration. Great. He said, I've got a house up on the mountain 2 minutes from campus. So there you go. That's the quote. Ray Tanner discussed the firing of Muschamp today. He was asked directly about Freeze as a candidate for the job. Ray Tanner told reporters today, I'm not going to speak to any particular candidates. Nobody is ruled out. We'll be looking at a long list of candidates, and that work started last night. So at this point, we will consider a lot of different people, and now we're in the process of narrowing the list down. So just go ahead and chalk it off. It ain't happening. Okay? That's what I'm telling you. It's not happening. And no, they don't have a long list that they're working off of at South Carolina. It's a list of one, somebody whom they already have an agreement lined up with. Now, signed, I don't know. Don't care. There's an agreement. They know who it's going to be. And the whole we got a list thing is agent talk, which they kind of have to do, I guess. And it's not going to be Hugh Freeze. So, questions, comments, opinions? Otherwise, let her rip, Tater Chip. Love to hear from y'all today on this Reaction Monday. On the live stream, Sven says, I have a good feeling about this week. We play Auburn, we will win. No, it ain't Auburn, Sven. It's Georgia. Patrick said, what's up, Matt? Happy to see Ridgeland having a successful football season. Hey, JB, Ridgeland won Friday night. They're moving on.
Yeah, that was somewhat of a shocker, but there were a few people that picked Ridgeland. Could do it over Lake Cormorant.
Mm-hmm. They moving on.
Yeah, I was really shocked you mentioned it earlier in the first part of the show about Hernando beating
Panola. Sure did. What a huge win for Hernando.
And so what I've heard earlier today is that Warren Central has to come to Clinton.
Yeah, that's right.
Because we thought on Friday that because Warren Central was supposed to travel and Clinton hosted, then Warren Central would host. But
yeah, I have always held on to the way it used to be for years and years, and that was if you traveled the week before, you'd be at home the next week. If you both traveled, it goes higher seed thing, right? But
exactly,
what we were told on the weekend, once you realized Clinton had won, was that no, it'll be at Clinton even though they hosted already because of the higher seed deal. I don't understand it. Don't understand all I know about the seeding stuff. Just tell me where it is. I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
So, they're going to go to Clinton.
Let them know where they need to be to play, right?
I will tell you this. Okay, Clinton went in there and beat Warren Central on their field in the regular season a couple of weeks ago. And this is going to be a heck of a ball game.
Oh, absolutely.
It's hard to beat the same team twice in a season. It's hard.
Especially in the playoffs.
Well, in the playoffs, at your place you've already beaten them once, and the expectation is you're going to do it again. Yeah. And the other guys have forgotten nothing.
No.
And here's the other thing. It's one thing to try to beat somebody twice in the same season. It's another thing to try to beat somebody twice within about 3 weeks.
And not to mention them being a pretty stout little rival for many years. which adds a lot more.
And oh, by
flavor
the
to
way,
it.
the other team sat around and rested all weekend.
Right.
Okay, and it's not like, I mean, Clinton won pretty easily, but still, I can't wait. I can't wait.
You coming down for that one?
No.
Okay.
We got to go to Georgia, so I'll be traveling to Athens on Saturday morning.
Oh, that's right. I forgot, man.
Yeah, and all that stuff.
How could I forget that? Sorry.
Oh, I'll tell you why.
I just checked out for a moment.
No. It's totally all right, JB. I'll tell you how you have forgotten that. Because we already know the outcome. It ain't a matter of how much Georgia wins by. I mean, it ain't a matter of if or not they win. It's a matter of how much they win by. I screwed it up, but you get the point.
No, what you're saying is we got two of the most inept offenses playing two pretty decent defenses. One dilapidated by injuries.
Well, that's it. But
and the other dilapidated by people leaving.
Yeah. But, I mean, Georgia's second string on both sides of the ball has more four-star players on it than State's whole team right now.
What's a four-star?
You sound like some coaches I know. Some really good stuff on the text line going to keep us going here next on Reaction Monday. We are just getting started. In the Farm Bureau studio, Farm Bureau Insurance, go! With the home team. Stick around.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with auto pay and paperless billing. Even without auto pay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country Pleasin' sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan, put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasin' sausage, countrypleasin.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from them. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasin', please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Hey, are you buying land or selling it? You need to let Matt Anderson with National Land Realty help you out. Matt Anderson Properties. Here's what Matt can do. If you're buying land, you can view the property without ever setting foot on it. They've got Well, so as it turns out, over at the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame today, you're having MAIS Football Championship Week Media Day. That's tough to say. MAIS Football Championship Week Media Day. Okay, and Chris is there. Is that Twitter is leading me to believe, JB, that Chris is there.
Well, that's correct.
All right.
Because Twitter is the mechanism by which he wants people to know that he was there.
He was there. But
now, whether or not he was there or somebody used his Twitter account to make everybody think he was there.
So it already happened?
Yeah, it was like at 10 o'clock today.
Oh.
Which is why he left his audience hanging for 2 hours.
Well, he's in attending to other important things.
Yeah, I understand. And, it's his priorities, not mine. But it just seems like after a weekend of high school football, and he's the high school guru, that he would be in. Why could he not have done a remote?
I'm
sure Uncle Bill would have been great to go with him. Wouldn't that have been great radio?
You're really on his case.
I'm just trying to be his boss.
Well,
yeah.
You hear that, Chris?
Probably not a good idea. He's already married.
You hear that, Brooks? You better get your butt in order.
Yeah.
Get things going.
Get priorities straight. Cracker.
All right. Here we are in this Reaction Monday. Y'all text me on the Country Pleasing text line, 885-ESPN, 885-ESPN, or 885-3776. Call me on the Davini phone. Davini Equipment, Madison and in Jackson, your Kubota dealer. It's 995-1059, a 601 number, 995-1059. That's the Davini phone. Call me, we'll talk. Davini Equipment, Madison and in Jackson, your Kubota dealer. The oldest Kubota dealer in the U.S. That's right. Mm-hmm. Okay, 3-Hump Camel, Country Pleasing text line says, advice for young or new Bills fans after that loss last night. You know what it's really like being a Bills fan. I'm talking about snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. But Kyler Murray's fun to watch, is he not? Running to his left, square his shoulders, throw a Hail Mary into the end zone, and then the receiver for, who was it, Hopkins, for Arizona goes up and makes a play between 3 defenders and pulls it down for the game winner as time expires. It's just, wow. 3M Camel also said, remember when Saban held a press conference with the Dolphins to tell the world he was not leaving to be the coach at Alabama? And then like 2-3 days later, he was the coach at Alabama. I remember that, 3M Camel. He's like, all right, fine, I guess I'm going to have to say it. I'm not going to be the coach at Alabama. There, I said it. It's just playing that game. Anthony from Tupelo. Hey, Matt. I helped out with the adults versus youth flag football game yesterday. I didn't get to see any NFL games. What happened to the Saints? Well, the Saints won, but Drew Brees left the game with a rib injury. And he basically said it was bad enough, like he could stand the pain, but it had debilitated him. In other words, he had to come out of the game.
I was not going to be able to be effective. It had nothing to do with pain. It was simply just what my body was going to be able to do or not be able to do.
I can stand the pain. My body quit. There are certain injuries that you can't keep going. Sean Payton said he asked to come out of the game.
No, he stayed on the sideline. I'm not going to get into the hypotheticals as to what percent, all those things. Obviously, he stayed on the sideline, but he looked strong enough about letting me know, and I know when he does that, which is kind of probably going to be the first time in 15 years that it was significant enough where he felt like he couldn't function in the second half.
Nick Mullins, former Southern Miss quarterback, was on the other side of that. It was San Francisco who the Saints beat yesterday, and Mullins quarterbacked them, and he just credited them for shutting him and the offense down in the second half.
I think it's just going against a good defense. You're not going to score on every drive. You're not going to be perfect, but you strive to be as perfect as you can. We had some good drives. I felt like we were moving the ball. But going against a good defense, you got to be clutch at really every moment in the game. And so they did a good job of just shutting us down. But I thought we kept fighting. I was proud of the way we just kept fighting, stayed at it. But they did a good job. And so we just got to overcome that and make more plays.
All right. Bama fan on the Country Pleasing text line says, J.A., big win at Jackson Prep Friday night. J.A. had lost to Prep 12 straight. I did not realize they had lost 12 straight in that before winning it. How huge, huh? And now square off with MRA at Memorial Stadium on Saturday for the MAIS 6A championship. Huge, man. Huge. White Denzel says, hey, Matt, how about Andy Ogletree winning low amateur at the Masters this year? Me and everyone in Union, so proud of him. So cool. Goosebumps. I bet, Denzel. How cool was it seeing your boy from Union sitting in the on live –
the Butler cabin.
Butler cabin, live television, CBS, right next to DJ, right next to Tiger, who he played with the other day, by the way, right next to some guy, and right next to Jim Nantz. I mean, how
he finished better than Tiger.
It's just incredible.
One stroke better than Tiger.
All right, Louvier, Country Pleasing Texas, you had better let Bo Bounds know that South Carolina is not going to hire Hugh Freeze. That's the only focus on his whole show for the past month. Go Saints. Take your time getting healthy for the playoffs, Drew. I agree, Louvier. Look, you're there. This ain't even going to be a normal playoffs. Just ride this thing right on to the end and make sure that Drew is healthy. You good. You're good to go. Just get healthy. Nobody in this league's hiring Hugh Freeze this year. I don't know about next year. I don't know about the next. I don't know about the next. I don't know about the next. They're not hiring him this year. He's not coming to the SEC this year. Now, trust me on this. One of the most powerful men in college sports doesn't want anybody to think that. And that's his agent. Okay? And his agent can call in any number of favors he wants all over the whole country, including sports talk people and all that kind of stuff. They're not hiring him. Ernest T. This says, so we're supposed to believe anything Freeze says. Nah. Look, it's not about what he says. I think, it's not for me to judge whether his answer is honest or not. But what I'm telling you is what he says. I totally believe what is in his answer to Brandon Marcello. I'm coaching Liberty, and as far as who's interested in me and who's not, I don't know. Number one, they don't contact me. If he were being honest, he'd say that they don't contact me. They contact my agent. But number two, I'm not going to the SEC. Michigan comes open, maybe they'll call. But it's not going to be South Carolina. It's not going to be Auburn. Kenny, don't call me Ken, he says on the Country Pleasing text line. Says, my guess is the SEC knows something related to Freeze cell phone stuff that hasn't been disclosed. No, I don't think it's it at all. I don't think it's, at this point, knowing something that nobody knows. I think it's all to do with something about the way things went down the first time. I'll just be honest. I'll give you kind of an honest thought here as this popped up yesterday. Muschamp fired. At some point last night, Peter Burns from the SEC Network posted a screenshot of some of the SEC bylaws related to hiring coaches, related to hiring or trying to hire coaches who have a past history of some, infractions and that kind of stuff. SEC, the conference bylaws. Bylaw 19.8.1.2, hiring practices. Okay, and what it talks about in here is, to summarize it, it says level 1, level 2 violations. You got a history of those. Every school, every AD, every president is going to consult with the conference office before going down the road with that particular candidate. It doesn't prohibit them to do it from doing it, but it says, better not do it. While each member institution makes its own hiring decisions, member institutions shall, at a minimum, request specific information from each candidate concerning his or her rules compliance. In addition, the president or chancellor of that member institution is expected to consult directly with the commissioner prior to offering employment to that individual. Okay, does that spell it out clearly enough? And what Peter put in his tweet,
easy for you to say.
yeah, he said regarding South Carolina parting ways with Will Muschamp and looking for a new head coach, something to keep in mind regarding hiring practices in the SEC according to the conference's official bylaws. Look, it's one thing to have a personal issue. We've all got them. Every coach has got them. I'm not so sure that's a huge deal. It's one thing to have rules violations. Lots of coaches have them in their past, in their present. It's another thing to mislead everybody. Lie about it. Including to your boss, including to your commissioner, including to your conference. That stuff's hard to get over. Rolling along with you, Reaction Monday. We're halfway there. Not even halfway there. Well, halfway there in this hour. We got a long way to go today. Y'all stick around.
If your catfish place doesn't serve fresh U.S. farm-raised catfish, throw it back. That's not Moss Creek Fish House. Moss Creek is locally owned and operated in Pearl just off I-20, next to Tinseltown. Open Monday through Sunday, 10:30 till 9. Moss Creek is cooking up a mess of fresh catfish, gumbo, fried and grilled shrimp, and other fixes just for you. Be sure to try their famous thin and crispy catfish, or make it all you can eat. Moss Creek serves only Simmons catfish, always fresh, never frozen. It's what a fish house should be. Visit their website at mosscreekfishhouse.com. That's mosscreekfishhouse.com. Get by and have some catfish today.
Tammy at Romantic Adventures. We are here to enhance your romance.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Whenever I hear of an injured person hiring such and such a lawyer, I wonder, why'd they choose that law firm? Did they see the lawyer on a big billboard, a radio ad, or maybe an advertisement on television or the back of a bus? Maybe they just Googled it and clicked the first name that showed up. And then almost all the time, I worry. I worry if they know what that lawyer is really all about. Do they know when the last time that lawyer tried a personal injury case, or maybe if they ever even did? Does the lawyer have the resources to get the most for the client? Here's my advice. Do your research. Results matter. Reputation matters. As the largest personal injury firm in America, there's really nothing like us. There's only one Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com. Now pound law on yourself. Pound law, that's all. No representation is made that the quality of legal services are greater than those of other law firms. Offices Jackson.
A message to help keep you safe. If doctors we feel less afraid that our loved ones would be struck by the invisible enemy, we start to feel hope that we could live our lives again. Well, a mask does all that. We can help protect others by covering our noses and mouths, which is how the virus mainly spreads. Masks are a ticket to freedom, to be out in the world, to getting together, back to work, back to doing what we want. If doctors announced we could save lives today, we would grab that breakthrough with both hands. While we wait for a vaccine, grab the breakthrough that's already here. When we're out, it's masks on. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
One of my favorite philosophies goes like this. Yard by yard, life is art. Inch by inch, life's a cinch. I really like that. For many of us, life can appear to be hard. We get up in the morning overwhelmed with the difficulties we're facing. For some, it's relationships. For others, financial issues. Some are dealing with health challenges. Others, job issues. For most of us, however, if we break our issues down to bite-sized pieces, they don't look so large, so looming. The vast majority of our problems look less daunting when we begin to realize that they don't overwhelm us when we look at them in light of what we can do right now to deal with them. Taking regular, daily, small steps to deal with our problems leads us towards our ultimate goals. Remember, yard by yard, life is hard. Inch by inch, life's a cinch. To learn more, check us out at BeKindnessRevolution.net.
He's going all the way. With playoff caliber sports talk, it's the Matt Wyatt.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial.
Back with you. Live in the Farm Bureau studio, Farm Bureau Insurance across the state of Mississippi. Go with the home team. They are your home team, your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Available to you, one locally, right next to you, in all 82 counties around the state of Mississippi. Also staying connected to you around the clock because of C Spire, the number one network in Mississippi. C Spire, customer inspired. All right, live stream. The audio's fixed now. Jennifer had a little glitch there in the audio. It took the volume down, but we got it turned up. How about this conversation here? So Sven on the live stream said after Muschamp, I guess Harbaugh at Michigan is next to have no job anymore. Blake Robinson said Harbaugh safe. Mason the next to go. Blake also said Todd Monken will be the new head coach at South Carolina. Hearing it's a done deal.
They better hope not.
He says Tanner and Monken are best friends. And
they
went
could be
to
best friends, but that doesn't mean he's a good hire.
And went to West. Yeah, does he mean not Todd? You know, Todd Monken is the former Southern Miss coach who's right now is the offensive coordinator at Georgia. Is he talking about Jeff? Jeff Monken is Todd's brother, who's the head coach at
I think
Army.
he's talking about the Todd, the one that was at Southern.
But Todd Monken went to West Point, went to Army.
No, I don't know. His brother's the head coach.
That's what I'm saying. At the end of Blake's comment, he says, and they went to West Point together. And I'm going, well, hold on a minute. Todd Monken went to West Point? Wait a minute. And then Jeff Monken is the head coach at Army. I think we got a mix up right there on the comment.
Yeah, Monken was on the train that he was Gundy's OC and came to Southern after Southern lost. What's his name? The guy with the cool hair.
Fedora.
Yeah.
Right.
So, no, I think that would be a horrible hire.
Which one, though? Todd Monken or Jeff Monken?
Yeah, well, let me just ask you this. What do you think about Georgia's offense this year?
Well, but see, here's the thing, though. I'm trying to playing career. See, Jeff Monken didn't go to Army either. He's just the coach at Army. See, Todd Monken, if we're talking about Todd, all right, so now we got it. Blake is talking about Jeff. See, that I'm with you, JB. Like, it makes no sense whatsoever to talk about Todd Monken becoming the head coach at South Carolina.
And not very much more sense, if any at all, his brother.
So Jeff Monken, he's done a really fine job at Army. Okay,
right,
he's done a fine job there.
My whole point about that is the fact that, I mean, you know how it is in every walk of life. It seems like you have a preacher that does this or whatever. Well, when he leaves, you're going to get somebody that does the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Or, so when you get an offensive-minded coach or a defensive-minded coach and they get fired, then what are you most likely going to do?
Yeah,
I'm going to go the other way. So you got Muschamp, who's defensive-oriented. I think they got to go out and find somebody. And I hear what you're saying about Freeze, man. I do hear you. But I'm telling you, come time to put the money on the table, he is going to find a job in one of the Power Fives.
Oh, it'll be in a Power Five, no doubt.
He can flat out coach.
Yeah,
you said it. But
he can coach.
I go back to what you said a moment ago. There's got to be something else in some kind of written clause that was signed or something that that just would prevent him coming in. That's the only thing I can think that would keep him, because I mean you're looking at 2 schools more than likely, Vanderbilt. So I don't know, man. I just don't.
Yeah.
In my reaction to Todd or Jeff going to South Carolina, you might as well keep Muschamp, keep the $15 million.
Yeah, that's a good point. If we, Jeff Monken at Army's been there since 2014. Prior to that was at Georgia Southern. So you're talking about the last decade. He's coached option football, Georgia Southern, and at Army, and did a heck of a job, and has done a heck of a job as a head coach at both. 84 and 54. A couple of conference championships there at Georgia Southern. Beat Navy in 2018. Some of this stuff. But, triple option offense in the SEC, or you going to do that or run something different? I think that's the thing about him. Can he coach? Is he a good coach? Can he run a program? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's see what it says here. 3-Hump Camel, Country Pleasing text line. Remember when Saban held a press conference? Okay, we've already read that. Sorry, I got to that one earlier. Unnamed texter says, what from what you just read makes you think Hugh Freeze wouldn't be back in the SEC? I'm sure several schools would love to have an innovative coach that could lift their offensive profile and recruiting. Bring the baggage with you, boss. Yeah, right. I'm sure there are some. I'm just telling you, not happening. Jason, not in the SEC. Jason in Flagstaff says, I kind of think Hugh Freeze will end up out here at UCLA or USC, maybe Arizona. Would own the conference in 2 years, be top 10-ish if it's a Southern California school. I mean,
so if he goes out there, would he kind of be the next Oregon?
Yeah, right.
With that run?
Yeah, could be. Yeah, no doubt. And the thing about him is, like, it's hard to just close your eyes and picture him personally as a fit, but he'll win. He'll get it in the end zone. We know that. Anthony says on the text line, I don't go for the foregone conclusion that State will lose on any given weekend. You never know what team may come on the field. I look forward to calling you on Monday and serving up your words on a silver platter without country-pleasing sausage. I'll be glad to eat that crow, Anthony, if I'm wrong about that one. Absolutely. And Sven called me out, too, on the live stream. He said, I wouldn't be so sure, Matt. Georgia has no offense at all. A horrible, god-awful secondary. That's his words. He says they gave up nearly 90 against Florida and Alabama. If we sling that thing around, we have a shot. So, there you go. How about Res Dog on the country pleasing text?
Just ain't been slinging it too.
I hadn't been slinging it enough. Res Dog says, wait, Chris has an audience? Yes, he has a big one on this station. Phoenix said that Breeze looked scared. I tell you what, you get your ribs banged up, you'd be scared too. Scared to take a breath. I've been there. Ready Teddy says Will Muschamp has been paid around $20 million to go away from his last 2 jobs. Miko says, Matt, on the freeze subject. So is it fair to say that as long as Sankey is commissioner of the SEC, Freeze will be frozen out of the SEC, out of an SEC hire? And if that's the case, and old Hugh is hired by another Power 5 school and faces an SEC school, you think he will try and run the score up when presented the opportunity? Yeah, I mean, probably yes and yes. That's probably what I'd say. Somebody's going to hire him. I agree with JB on that. Bama fan says, we were talking about Todd Monken. He said ran the Oklahoma State offense at Southern Miss. He won at Southern Miss. He did. He kind of left a roster full of JUCOs, and it flattened out after a year or two. He got out of there at the right time. True Maroon says Oak Grove's head coach will be the next head coach at South Carolina per sources under the lights. Reckon? Look, outside of the recruiting deal and dealing with older players, you never know. I'm confident some of the best football coaches, X's and O's, motivators, game planners, play callers, practice organizers, some of the best anywhere at any level are coaching in high school. Some of them. Ain't no question. Doggone says triple option might be better than the air raid. Couldn't be worse for now. And Nick says, I'd take Freeze in Starkville today, and he wrote today with capital letters.
I think it was a little freezing on the ground up there today.
Yeah, we had some frost.
Yeah.
Sure did. Had it in North Mississippi. Had some frost. Got down to, 30-something, whatever it was, for frost to form. Look it up. But.
Science guy.
Yeah, science. I'll just
Science.
Explain it away as science. Blake on the live stream says South Carolina needs a Dan Mullen right now, but I'm not sure there is one out there. A Dan Mullen clone is somebody who does a really good job of coaching around whatever talent he has. Make it work with whoever you have. Sven says, JB, I disagree. If Liberty has nothing but money, he says Liberty has nothing but money. That's not the problem there. And that's true. I mean, Liberty's got just unlimited resources. So they do.
Well, they're fixing to pay a bunch for a lawsuit, so we'll see how much they got after that lawsuit.
Blake says, how mad would Ole Miss be if Auburn got Hugh Freeze and started winning championships? Says South Carolina will give Mike Bobo a few games. I mean, he's going to get a shot. I think a lot of Mike Bobo, great guy. I think he is a really fine coach.
Yeah.
He does not look healthy. I know he had the health problem that took him out and really gave him a scare last year, and you can just tell by looking at him, man, he's
aged 10 years in the last year.
He really has, JB. He really has aged 10 years in 1 year. No question. Hour 2 coming up. Stick around.
Thinking about life insurance?
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C-Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. the best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with auto pay and paperless billing. Even without auto pay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country Pleasing sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasing sausage, countrypleasing.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from them. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wyatt stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Hey, are you buying land or selling it? You need to let Matt Anderson with National Land Realty help you out. Matt Anderson Properties. Here's what Matt can do. If you're buying land, you can view the property without ever setting foot on it. They've got the 360-degree interactive drone touring. It's really cool. You got to check it out. And if you're selling property, Matt's going to get you consistent reports, comprehensive reports of who's looking, how many people looked at your listing. You need to let him help you. Matt Anderson Properties with National Land Realty. Call him, 601-408-5155. Hey, if you listen to the show, you know that the new third hour of the Matt Wyatt Show is brought to you by Overstreet Properties in Starkville. Here's what you need to know. If you're looking for a weekend home or condo, full-time residence, investment property, maybe just an apartment to lease, you got a student going to school at State, call Kane Overstreet at Overstreet Properties. In Starkville, it's 323-8618, or look them up online, overstreetproperties.com.
And on your radio at ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
It is Monday, a Reaction Monday. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Matt. JB is here. Most importantly, you are here. Appreciate you being here. Glad you grabbed a chair and had a seat at the table with us. We'll chat it up with you for a little bit here on this Reaction Monday. What's your reaction to the weekend? What did you think about Ole Miss outscoring South Carolina? Their offense couldn't be stopped. South Carolina's just about couldn't be stopped, but it was stopped enough for Ole Miss to win the ball game. Shootout. It was a fun game to watch. I didn't watch all of it. I sure watched most of it.
Yeah. If you're a State fan, do you hope they have another bye week so they can get ready for the Egg Bowl?
Yeah. Well, maybe so. It would certainly help get people healthy. But the other side of that, too, though, if you're a State guy, also, JB, is some people believe this, and it is true sometimes, that you're actually better off to kind of get back in the flow of things.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I
go out
agree
and
with you.
hit somebody and tackle and kind of get back into the routine. We'll talk about all that, coaching what ifs. You got one open in the SEC now in the East and all that kind of stuff. I need to pour a little coffee, though, first.
25 seconds left to
Here
play.
we go.
You're
Yeah.
listening to the Matt Wyatt Show.
I want winners.
This crowd is alive.
Play to win the game.
Wyatt from the shotgun, two backs alongside.
Knock him out, John.
Wyatt gets the ball.
It won't be long.
Wyatt back to throw. Wyatt looks, fires toward the end zone. Passes, caught for a touchdown by Matthew Butler.
Speak to the Matt Wyatt Show. He's Radio Wyatt.
Well, how am I going to go to college? I'll just play football.
Yeah. Like hearing that. Old Jerry and Mr. C. All right, here we go. Hour 2. He is off and running. Text me on the country, please, and text line 885-ESPN. It's a 601 number, 885-ESPN, or 885-3776. Call me on the Davini phone, Davini Equipment, Madison and in Jackson. They are your Kubota dealer. Highway 51, Madison, Spring Ridge Road, Jackson, Kubota. Hit me up on the Davini phone, 995-1059. It's a 601 number, 995-1059. Let's see where we are. And also on the live stream. Hey to y'all, if you're on Facebook or YouTube tuning in on the live stream, I can see all your comments all here in one place. We'll chat it up that way also. Mike on the live stream said, I think Will Muschamp has gotten lazy and fat. Hey, JB, can you imagine the post game with the AD where they're going to fire you? And that comes, you know, and then we just cut to the chase. Hey, Will, yeah, thanks. Come on in. Have a seat here. We're going to go a different direction. We're going to go ahead and cut bait right now and let you get going. You're going to be a wealthy man with this buyout, obviously, but we're going to go ahead and move on to the next guy. Okay. Well, can you kind of fill me in on the reasons? Well, Will, I'm just going to be honest with you. You've gotten lazy and fat. What? You're firing me because you think I'm lazy and fat? Well, off the record, of course. Hey, if it's true, maybe we appreciate honesty. Blake said Muschamp got some good players but wasn't a good game day coach. Whoever comes in can have immediate success. They got players. They got some. Mike came back and said if South Carolina picks up Freeze, he'll have a championship run within the first 2 years. Blake said Freeze versus Mullen for the Eastern Division with Kirby taking the back seat. Mike said, I think Mason stays put for this year. Vandy will not want to make a move due to COVID and the social situation going on. Why? You saying that, Mike, because he's a African-American head coach? Where did the terms black and white and stuff come from? Nobody is either one, like technically. I mean, we got Caucasian, we got African-American, but ain't nobody black and ain't nobody white. Okay, anyway. I don't know. Listen, let's talk about this real quick. People are now throwing around two names. Everybody looking at two names, right? Now that Muschamp is gone, and out there at South Carolina, they are looking for the next guy. everyone immediately now transitions, okay, who's next? Well, let's see, Derek Mason, Vanderbilt, gone. No, I'm not so sure. And everybody goes, Harbaugh, Michigan. Well, let's look at it real quick. The financials for Harbaugh, maybe they are complicated. I haven't read about them. I just know his contract is huge. I know the money was huge. I know that he's taken pay cuts, as have a lot of people at Michigan, and I know that how many staff members and like faculty and stuff has Michigan, the University of Michigan, furloughed and cut and fired and everything else? It's in the hundreds, isn't it? So I don't know what the financials are. At a place like Michigan, if going ahead and making a change on Harbaugh now during a COVID year would cost them millions upon millions upon millions of dollars in buyout stuff, maybe it's fine, but maybe it's not. Okay, maybe they consider that. I just know that that is a Michigan. Can we all agree on this? Michigan is a train that is now going 80 miles an hour downhill, and there is zero chance of turning it back around, getting it going uphill anytime soon. That's what Michigan is. Okay, it's about to bottom out. Now, I think if you're looking at it in terms of reality, and I know recruiting is a big deal also, I think Harbaugh is the kind of coach who, if you are in a situation where you need to overachieve, you don't have certain built-in advantages that everybody else has. You need to have a more of a, hard-nosed, blue-collar approach, and we're going to overachieve and go beat some people. I think Harbaugh is the right kind of coach for that job. He played at Michigan. They hired him. He's not the right kind of coach for Michigan. They need a front runner. I don't think Harbaugh's a front runner. I think he's just not the right fit. I think they've found that out. If they let this thing bottom out, which it basically is bottoming out now, what if they let him try to coach him out of it? I don't know. I think that what I do know is that it is an awful situation at Michigan right now. The head coach himself admits it.
Every part is is not where close to where it should be. Stopping the run, stopping the pass, running the football offensively, throwing the pass in the passing game. I mean, all things thoroughly, not where they need to be in terms of execution. So that starts with, as I said, starts with me, starts with our coaches, and also every person here, understanding what we're supposed to do, and then going and executing it.
There you go. Everything's broken in Michigan. He knows it. Bottomed out. You're not getting this train turned around going uphill. It'll take years. If you stick with Harbaugh, you're looking at 3 years. I'm serious. Okay, so if you don't stick with him, who's it going to be? But look at Derek Mason at Vanderbilt. I'm just being honest. You watch them against State. They lost to State. Their offense really struggled against State's defense. State's defense is very good. It was a pretty good Kentucky defense that Vandy went up there and put up a bunch of points on them this week. Scared them to death. I know one of those touchdowns late, but just scared the daylights out of Kentucky. 30-plus points they scored in the ballgame?
Pretty cool what they did for their O-line, Coach. You see that
yeah, I did see that. Yeah, Kentucky at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, good stuff.
With Vanderbilt, I see a team that is playing hard at great odds, long odds. Vandy has no business hanging in there in a ball game with Kentucky. They did it. Vandy has no business. I'm serious. Vandy has no business hanging in there in a ball game with State. They did it. I don't see a situation. Well, let me back up. When you look at how many players have left, opted out of Vanderbilt, injuries, everything else, the ones that are there are playing really hard week in and week out, despite not winning a game. They are not poorly coached. Watch them. I mean, from a football standpoint, yes, they're getting outmanned and out-depth and outrun in these ball games. They are at a tremendous personnel disadvantage right now. But they're not a mess. They're not out there getting out-coached, out-schemed a lot, frankly. And given everything going on, with COVID, it does not look like a situation where Vandy needs to make a change at head coach. I mean, to me, people spitting that out there, it is just simply a matter of, oh, well, they haven't won a game, fire him. But look, y'all, that's not reality. That's just not reality. I'm not making excuses for him or anything. Sven telling me that Harbaugh makes $8 million a year at Michigan. Yeah, it was 10 though, wasn't it? We take a big pay cut, something like that. All right, somebody cited the fact that combined Florida, Alabama put up almost 90 points or right at 90 points on Georgia's defense. Jason in Flagstaff says, LOL at citing Florida and Alabama as reasons that State has a chance to beat Georgia. They've got something we don't have, offensive players, plenty of them, and coaches trying to win now. Look, unless something really changes, Georgia's going to have a tremendous advantage. Their defensive line on the field versus State's offensive line. Georgia got a tremendous advantage there. Coffee Norman says, Matt, I see Kiffin says that the A&M and Ole Miss game will almost certainly not be made up. I guess because it's A&M's second canceled game. What happens if the Egg Bowl is canceled? He says, I think if no other game gets made up, they will try to play that one. Yeah, they'll definitely try to play that one if it were to come down to that the week of Thanksgiving where one team or the other has to hold off. Here is a quote from, well, not a quote, but a story from Keith Carter. Somebody's saying that this morning Keith Carter, athletics director Ole Miss, said that they will find out tonight by 8 p.m. whether they might play LSU or Mississippi State this weekend. And it would hinge on either Georgia or Arkansas being unable to play this weekend. He also noted that the last 4 weeks are going to be very, quote, fluid. Yeah. I mean, it's just, there's no way to tell what's going to happen in any of these, really. It's just day to day, week to week. I mean, it's a week of, we're sitting here going with an actual athletics director at one of the schools going, on Monday night at 8 p.m. at that time will we know for sure if we're not playing somebody. And we might play somebody, but it's not who's on our schedule, but it could be one of two other teams. I mean, if that ain't fluid, I don't know what is. Gage on the Country Pleasing text line says, do you think South Carolina goes after one of the new offensive coordinators like Jeff Lebby, Kendall Briles, or even Brian Johnson from Florida? Gage, I do not. I don't think South Carolina. I don't think South Carolina goes after an offensive coordinator. They will hire a sitting head coach somewhere. They already know who it is. They're not hiring him at the time that they're hiring him. I'm sorry, firing. They're not firing him at the time they are firing him without somebody already lined up. He's lined up. It's probably not in writing. It's probably simply a verbal agreement with somebody.
You can speculate on that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. If
4 or 5 people you think might.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's Napier at Louisiana.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like that's who it is. And he's making $2 million, something like that, 2 point whatever, at Louisiana. And you hire him, you're going to have to pay him $4 right off the bat. And everything I've read and learned about Napier at Louisiana in the past is that he's old school. He's coach's son. He's not going to be going out here and being all public about going to the next job while he's still coaching this one.
Right.
So I think that's who it is. We'll see. But I think it's who it is. It's not Freeze.
Wasn't that part of the reason that he didn't interview with State last year? Is his team was still playing at the time they were doing some interviews?
Yeah.
And he didn't want to interview till after the season was over, is what I was told.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and, think about
Call
it is,
that commitment and loyalty, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, and any good athletics director wants a coach who thinks that way.
Yeah.
No question about it. One of the first red flags that ever went up about Tom Herman, the coach at Texas who's not long for that world. One of the first red flags that went up about him is when it's before he ever even got to Texas. He was still coaching at Houston, and he and his agent were playing both ends against the middle. You know what I'm saying? You're negotiating on one end, but you're using that stuff to leverage against the other end. It was LSU and Texas Open at the same time, and they're floating all kinds of rumors out there on purpose. His agent was doing it on purpose the night before his Houston Cougars were running out there playing in a very important game.
Yeah.
The very next day. Didn't care one bit, one iota, how it would affect those Houston players who've been working their butt off all year long and practicing and getting ready, and a lot of them seniors, and the last time they'd ever play football. Didn't care.
Mm-mm. My grandmother calls that talking out of both sides of your mouth.
Well, that's what they did. And there's a red flag for you. A good coach with his mind in the right place tells his agent, hey, buddy, I appreciate what you're doing, but you shut up and you keep it out of the media. We're coaching tomorrow to win.
Nip it.
After the ball game on Saturday, you can do whatever you want, float whatever you want, but you float something between now and kickoff, and you're done with me. But he didn't do that because he's about himself. And he goes to Texas, and he's about himself. And he goes to Texas and does some selfish things on the sideline, getting into a little, I don't know what you want to call it, a little match between he and Missouri in a bowl game in his first year. And the Missouri quarterback, Drew Lock, you got a 20-year-old kid out there doing a little celebration thing, and then the head coach starts mimicking it on the other side when they got the upper hand of the game. It was one of the most childish things in a football game I have ever seen from a sitting head football coach. One of the most childish. That's Tom Herman. Well, frankly, nobody's surprised. Nobody's surprised either that he's going to be out on his rear looking for the next job. Texas may go hire Freeze. And look out if they do.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Let's see here. Rebel Rex says, Matt, imagine if Vandy gets everyone back that opted out, and this young nucleus, they could do some damage. That quarterback looks better every week. Rex, it's a good observation on your part. He is a true freshman. What is his name? It's not Neil, is it? I can't think of the kid's last name. I'm just drawing a blank. Played against State. Played well. But I agree, it's a good observation. And the young nucleus they have is playing really hard. And they're SEALs. That's it. Thank you, Rex. And they're doing some good things. They are big time outmanned. State fans know what that feels like. And they're big time young. And people go, yeah, well, Ole Miss made a coaching change and they don't look outmanned. Well, in a lot of ways, they're not. Their offensive line is very good. You look at a player like Moore and some of those pass catchers combined with Corral, and then running back, speed all over the place. But we talked about it in the preseason. Look, the fact is, Ole Miss was one of two teams in the SEC that had more than 70 lettermen coming back this year. It was them and A&M. But Ole Miss had the most. Ole Miss had more players with playing experience coming back on their roster than anybody else in the SEC. And that's big when you're having an odd offseason and you don't get to do as much team activities, and you do have new coaches. More guys have been through the ringer some. So I thought that was important to them. And now they look like, they obviously are, they're big time on offense. They're not just good, they are big time. They're one of the better offenses in the country and loaded with speed. And their offensive line is awesome. I watched that game the other night. I know they're playing South Carolina, but it's a South Carolina team that beat Auburn and has done some things. It's also a South Carolina team that got blown out by LSU. But, man, Matt Corral sat back there in the pocket for Ole Miss Saturday night and could still be sitting back there in the pocket if he wanted to. That offensive line was that good.
He's really impressed me the last couple of games, and especially because he's bounced back so good from that Arkansas game. He plays with a little flair,
Yeah, he does.
He's always kind of had that little, I don't know, prima donna kind of side to him. But I thought he ran the ball real well, and I thought he threw the ball exceptionally well.
Let me tell you, man, he's good, and he's one of the littlest guys on the field. Matt Corral is, but he is tough.
Was he about 6'2"?
He's not even 6'2".
Oh, wow.
If he's 6'2", I'm Shaq. He's 6 foot tall. They may list him 6'1", but he's 6 tall. Running through guys, he never hesitates. It seems like on decisions. Just every now and then gets caught holding the ball, but makes quick decisions, lets it rip. I think he's tough.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, man, I met a 13-year-old yesterday with a size 17. Thought about you.
Wow. Stick around.
Club is the best deal on golf in the metro area, and it just got better. That's right. If you sign up for a membership at Live Oaks Golf Club
Farm Bureau
now,
Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with auto pay and paperless billing. Even without auto pay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country Pleasing Sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasing Sausage, countrypleasing.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from them. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wyatt stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here.
It's the Matt Wyatt Show. Live in the studio. Online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9. The Zone.
Yeah, word on the street is that, state is good to go from a numbers and a COVID standpoint. I mean, I say word on the street, but nothing official on that. Meanwhile, Kirby Smart, again, not official, but he told some folks that it appears that they are really confident the game will get played this weekend over in Athens, Georgia hosting state. So, yeah, the whole, Ole Miss losing the game against Texas A&M this week because of A&M, therefore Ole Miss, if one of its future opponents were to also be available, they could play it. Well, State's playing Georgia. That one, for now, appears to be on. Same thing for LSU, Arkansas. Haven't heard any hints that either one of those can't play. So as of right now,
they ought to not
Ole Miss
LSU
still has
play.
a game for this weekend.
LSU should not be allowed to play because of lack of institutional control.
Yeah, they got some issues at LSU. We'll get into that.
Out of hand, man.
USA Today investigation found that LSU mishandled abuse allegations and sexual misconduct complaints against top athletes and other students and subjected victims to further harm. That's a USA Today story. Many people are reading that. I haven't had a chance to read every line of it, but, it's something that popped up out there probably 2-3 months ago,
right,
where it was alleged that I think one of them was Fournette, maybe, or somebody. Yeah. So you're talking about a story that goes back and covers several years, and we can get into that too. Slippery when Rhett, Country Please, and text line 885-ESPN. Y'all text me 885-ESPN or 885-3776. Rhett says the Cajuns lost Coach Robichaux last year, and you're trying to take Napier out as well. He's all the Cajuns have going on. Yeah, I think they know. I mean, he's not long for that world either. It's just a matter of, does the right place come calling at the right time? And maybe it's South Carolina. Seems like it'd be a fit, but we'll see. Nick, what did it say? Sounds like Dan Mullen during a certain Egg Bowl week. What does? Who was it? I forget. What were we talking about at that time?
I think we was talking about inciting riots and stuff like that, or just Dan Mullen in general. Some of the stuff that, you got to put up with him.
Right. Rex. Yeah, Seals. That's right. Seals, the kid from Vandy. Thanks, Anthony. You too. All right. Unnamed texter. I'm tuning in late, so you may have talked about this, but you don't feel that Freeze signing an extension with Liberty takes him off the market officially? No, it doesn't take him off the market. That's a move that is, hey, we here at Liberty have a good thing going right now, and we're recruiting, and like I've told you before, for some places, in order to recruit well, all it takes is a whole lot of money. Well, Liberty's got a whole lot of money. Man, maybe recruiting's going well. We're undefeated, got momentum. We've always been looking for something like this to happen to build this football program on, so on and so forth. And now, rumor here, rumor there, Free's going to bounce. He's addressing it the right way. Got to keep his options open. So the school goes in. We do this contract extension deal, get it in the headline. We can show that to recruits, and maybe it helps to convince somebody to hang in there with us, until signing day. That's strictly a recruiting move. It doesn't do anything to take him off the market. Phoenix says, Matt, what in the world does Greg Sankey have against Hugh Freeze? Try to freeze him out, no pun intended, of the SEC. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, I'm not privy to all the details. I just know that's basically what it is. You get, I think it's twofold. Fold one, you get a member institution in serious hot water and lots of embarrassment over the recruiting allegations, and then get popped with all the violations. And then I think, too, it's really unseemly when, the head coach has 2 or 3 assistants get show causes, and he kind of sort of gets up out of there relatively unscathed. I mean, I say very intentionally say relatively. That's one thing. Is you still got one program that's still trying to come out of the bottom, out of the wilderness that you got them into. But the other thing is too, if you're not above board with everybody during that whole process, nobody forgets it. Just never forget it. Trust, man. I tell you, I've been there. You go out and you do something that damages trust with somebody or some group of people, it's hard to get it back. Sometimes even if they forgive you, it's hard to get it back. Anthony from Tupelo says the worst one in the article was Darius Geis. Okay, was it Geis also? I hadn't read all of it. I'll get a chance at some point to go read all the stuff about the LSU situation. It's tough, I'll say this. I said it when it first was hinted at a couple of 3 months ago, whenever that was. Other stories like this, I don't need to know the details to know this. There's just never, ever any excuse whatsoever for when a sexual assault type allegation pops up for the people at a university to not immediately investigate it to the 10th degree. There's no excuse for it. Well, we passed it on to so-and-so. Okay, let's go over there. What'd y'all do with it? Well, we sat on it. Okay, listen. Football coach, football administrator, athletics department administrator, athletic director, president, every single person. The only option, the only thing that is the right thing to do when a woman comes to you and says, somebody under your supervision assaulted me sexually, you drop what you're doing and immediately begin an investigation. No, I didn't say you immediately fire people. No, I didn't say you immediately bench somebody. I'm saying you immediately begin to investigate it without dropping it. And if you don't do that, you have no leg to stand on. And that's where LSU is, it looks like to me. It's where they were 3 months ago when this popped up. Caleb on the Country Pleasing text line says, I thought that teams couldn't reschedule games until after November 21st. The way I read this, Ole Miss shouldn't be able to reschedule a replacement game for Saturday. No, I don't think that's right. I think they can go ahead and reschedule them going forward. It gives them the ability to do that going forward. And it opened up the 19th of December as a possible makeup date for some games too. But I don't think they are bound by a certain date. They just have to be able, they announced it last week, and they have to make the decision as of Monday. That's where that is. All right, look at here. Davini Equipment phone line. Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson, your Kubota dealer. There he is, the man they call Hawk on the Davini phone. What's up, Chicken Hawk?
Oh, no, I ain't. Oh, there you go. Now I'm finna tell you. Look, you don't spare anything, any cost or any avenue with something like, I'm coming in on the tail end of this. I'm just going to speak to this real quick. You don't spare nothing. I don't care what it is. You don't spare nothing from the administration, from the top of administration down to the manager and the bag boy. You don't spare nothing. You get the police involved. Maybe they get the highway patrol, investigators involved. You got cameras everywhere and all around. Nowadays, you can't. It ain't like you used to. I'm scared to walk out. Look, me and Lou Bell got 3.5 acres downtown Homewood down there. And I'm scared to walk out and take a pee-pee on my backyard. Because you don't never know who's watching. If somebody got a drone, wanting to see me and get a picture. You know how they do the movie stars. So, I done become, I'm all the time having to sign autographs and, get pictures. So anyway, how y'all been doing? I had to go to the temple.
Oh, really?
The chicken temple.
The chicken temple. I've never heard of that.
Well, see, this is a little something a lot of the ordinary people don't know. This where the man lives, and we don't know how old the man is. They call him Chicken Buddha. Chicken Buddha. He's a little short, fat chicken hauler, got about 8 rows of fat, and he got a towel draped across his, across his waistline and part of his upper thigh. Ain't nobody, brave enough. That's where you go to learn stuff. Somebody called in the other day wanting to know how you spell, and I had to go to the temple and take care of some other business and see if I could actually, because see, we speak Chickenese. Chicken haulers, cow haulers, bull haulers. We speak a language called Chickenese. We don't worry about writing it. So I had to ask Chicken Buddha if I could spell that for that caller that called in the other day, or either text them. When you remember that when you want to know how you spell 18 Wooler.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you spell 18 Wooler, WHELA Wooler. And then you put
like
the number.
It's spelled like it sounds.
Yeah, 18 Wooler. And then, but see here, there's another word that I asked him.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with auto pay and paperless billing. Even without auto pay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? country pleasing sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasing Sausage, countrypleasing.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from them. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wyatt stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Hey, are you buying land or selling?
And he's right here, right now, online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
All right, back with you. Rolling along here, hour 2 of the show in this Reaction Monday. Jake has been hanging on the Davini Equipment phone line. Davini Equipment, Madison and in Jackson. Jake, thanks for hanging on. What's up?
Hey, what's up, guys? Just laughing at the last call. Tell him there's a brand new invention. It's called the restroom. You don't have to go outside to do that. It's a brand new invention. All the houses pretty much got it now, so he has to go outside to do. You don't have to go outside. Let's get back to the coaches. We should have the same standards of coaches like we do the kids. The coaches come in your living room. They promise your child the world. They promise your child, hey, they're going to get the best education. But you raise your child up from 0 to 17, 18. Now you're going to hand them off to a person that you really don't even know.
Yeah.
Now, is he going to have the same values and principles that you hold? That's a question.
Mm-hmm.
Until you get your child down there. My question is this right here. What type of questions are you going to be asking the coaches when he's in your living room eating your food? Hey, are you going to take care of my girl or daughter? Make sure that she's going to be safe down there. I won't freeze the coach again. I really do. But, dude, that was serious. But Petrino, that's serious. Brown from Baylor, dude, that's some serious stuff. I'm going to hang up and just give me a comment on that, brother.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Jake, I appreciate you hanging on as long as you did, too. Call me anytime. Thanks for the call. Yeah, and, I think you're right. There's always that element of, I think, in recruiting parents, for the most part, they want to know, okay, what kind of situation is a guy walking into? Or a girl, depending on the sport. At the same time, I think there is an element of, yes, safety. I mean, basic safety and human rights and the things that are just kind of, ground level. Safe environment, healthy, clean, chance to develop, all that kind of stuff. But, beyond that, I don't know that anybody can guarantee that nothing is ever going to happen, right? I don't think they can do that. They can't guarantee that nothing is going to happen. Can't guarantee that there's You can't guarantee that you come here all 5 years, you're going to be totally safe. No, you can guarantee how you're going to handle stuff, how you're going to go about it. So, there's certain things that nobody can guarantee. That's just all it is to it. Away from home is away from home. But now, if something does happen, what they should be able to guarantee you is how it will be handled. And look, brushing stuff under the rug because the starting running back is involved is just no way to go about it. It's going to come back to get you every time. It's coming to light. And you would hope that people at a major university like LSU, by the time they get to be the AD or they get to be the head coach or by the time they get to be the president or some administrator, that they've learned that. You got to handle stuff head on. Well, it may affect our football game with Alabama. So what? So what? Deal with this. You think you're going to sweep it under the rug. You think you're going to cover things up and go light. You're going to pay for it. If you put other stuff on the priority list ahead of people, we all have a basic responsibility, all of us. Right? And it's, if I were to relate it to children, I've said this before on this show, the number one responsibility that we have on this earth, on this planet, while we are here, is protecting the innocence of children. Number one. Tell me a greater responsibility. You can't. Well, what about
because they're going to lose it eventually, and they've got to have something to fall back on.
What about when those kids grow up?
That's what I'm saying.
To be 18, 19.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. So as an administrator, as a coach, as an AD, as a president, whatever, it's just a fact. If you get it out of whack, if you get things twisted, as we say, where all of a sudden money or winning or fortune and fame or keeping up with the Jones, all that stuff now all of a sudden has creeped up your priority list, and you are willing to just not be concerned with somebody's innocence and protecting it and doing what's right. People themselves, individuals, fall below on the priority list. They just all of a sudden have just fallen below. Money, fame, image, reputation, perception. Money. That's now at the top. Well, guess what is coming? Travis Tritt sang about it. Trouble with a capital T. It is on the way. Every single time. Not a few times. Not I might slip by this time. Nope. Listen, I'm telling you. Remember I told you. It's coming. Every single time. You better make friends with the truth. It is a relentless enemy. Deal with it. Now we're going. Football is important. Starting running back. Okay. You make your bed now, but you're going to lay in it later. And it goes for LSU and everybody else. Res Dog on the Country Pleasing text line. 885 ESPN says, if Georgia or Arkansas are unable to play this weekend, then Ole Miss could play MSU or LSU, respective per sources. That's what we're talking about, Res Dog. And by the way, Caleb, you were bringing this up earlier. Caleb said that he didn't think you could reschedule the opponents until after November 21st I think you're reading it wrong, Caleb. This is what it said, and you sent me the screenshot. This is as of Friday, so last Friday. Okay, so it said as of Friday, all games planned for November 21st will be played as scheduled. Then it says all games currently scheduled to be played after November 21st are subject to weekly road evaluation in order to reschedule games. That's because what you're reading said as of this past Friday, all the games this week were scheduled to go forward. But that was Friday. Okay, so here today on Monday, if State or somebody had jumped up and gone, we still got COVID issues, we don't have enough, we're out. Well, then all of a sudden the schedule could easily shift around. That's all it was saying. But because what you read, as of that time, they were all still on go. Res Dog, you're right. So if Georgia said, hey, State, we can't do it, we got COVID issues, or LSU's playing Arkansas, if Arkansas said, we can't do it, well, then Ole Miss could stick State or LSU on their schedule this week if they wanted to. They'd know by 8 o'clock tonight. It looks like those two are on go, so as of now, it looks like Ole Miss is going to be off this weekend. Dennis, formerly of Omaha, texted the show and said, how do I get a catchy moniker like Chicken Hawk, Hog Jowl, or Squirrel? Well, I would say that all three of those already had their nicknames long before I ever came here and started doing a radio show. I think they give them to themselves.
Oh, yeah. It's self-appointed.
It's self-appointed, The coolest one of those is Hog Jowl, in terms of the name itself for me, just because jowl to me is a pretty cool thing. It's like, it's sort of the radio version of a message board, Dennis, where, some people either get a kick out of it or would rather just be known by another name as opposed to the real name. So,
yeah, man, you got like Brooksy McJack.
Brooksy McJack is on here.
So if you like mac and cheese, Dennis, then maybe do something with that or find your favorite food.
That's right. Chicken Hawk said, my right hearing aid was not working and I couldn't hear the music. Is that what it was, Hawk? Olivier on the Country Please in Texas, I could not agree with you more. I've had many successes in my life, but I'm most proud of the job my wife and I did raising our two children. And now they are well-rounded, respectful, and responsible Christian young adults. The most important success of my life.
Amen.
Yeah, that's how you invest your life, right? Really, the only way to invest it is number one, sometimes I hate using monikers, but that old idea of let go and let God. The way you invest your life is you just give it up to the Lord. He's the reason you're here anyway. You give it up. Let him live through you. And then you invest your life in other people. And that's how you invest it.
That's how you leave a legacy.
And that's what we're talking about. We have left 2 hours in the dust. I know that much. Hour 3 coming up. Stick around.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C-Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. the best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with auto pay and paperless billing. Even without auto pay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country Pleasing sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasing sausage, countrypleasing.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from it. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wyatt stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Hey, are you buying land or selling it? You need to let Matt Anderson with National Land Realty help you out. Matt Anderson Properties. Here's what Matt can do. If you're buying land, you can view the property without ever setting foot on it. They've got the 360-degree interactive drone touring. It's really cool. You got to check it out. And if you're selling property, Matt's going to get you consistent reports, comprehensive reports of who's looking, how many people looked at your listing. You need to let him help you. Matt Anderson Properties with National Land Realty. Call him, 601-408-5155. Hey, if you listen to the show, you know that the new third hour of the Matt Wyatt Show is brought to you by Overstreet Properties in Starkville. Here's what you need to know. If you're looking for a weekend home or condo, full-time residence, investment property, maybe just an apartment to lease, you got a student going to school at State, call Kane Overstreet at Overstreet Properties. In Starkville, it's 323-8618, or look them up online, overstreetproperties.com.
Right here at home. Streaming to you at thezone1059.com and on your radio on ESPN 105.9. The Zone.
All right, here we go. Hour 3 of the show, off and running, presented by Overstreet Properties in Starkville or Stark Vegas, whatever you say. It's fine with me. Just if you're headed that way, anything residential, that's where you're going to want to go. Like if you're moving to Starkville and, you got to have a place to live permanently. House. The hacienda. It's it's home base. Well, then certainly go to Overstreet Properties. But also, like if you go into town for ball games several weekends out of the year, you need a condo that's kind of yours when you come into town, or leasing an apartment for like a student. Anything residential in Starkville, go to Overstreet Properties. Tell Kane Overstreet I said hello, and hit him up there. You can find the contact info at overstreetproperties.com. It's all right there. So welcome in Reaction Monday here in the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. You can text me 885-ESPN or 885-3776. You can call me on the Davini phone, Davini Equipment, Madison and Jackson. 995-1059. That's the number to call. It's a 601 number. 601-995-1059. I got NFL news for you right out
in America is a special game, a unique game. Played nowhere else on earth. It is a rare game. The men who play it make it so.
Hey, you talk about grown fellas playing a game of football? Listen to this real quick, and then I'm going to get over to the LSU story. Sign them up. Play football, right? It's part of the American dream. Play football, they said. It'll be fun. Listen to this. Source: results of the medical evaluations performed today on Saints quarterback Drew Brees revealed he has multiple rib fractures on both sides of his chest and a collapsed lung on the right side. Injuries were suffered over 2 weeks. It is uncertain how much time he will miss. Good gracious. Let me just tell you something, y'all. Let me just tell you how this is. Look, back up. Everybody back up. I'm going to kill the music here. Everybody back up. I just want to paint a picture for you, okay? Listen. We have, let's all raise our hand, because in one way or another, we're all kind of a part of this from time to time. As we'll come out here on the radio, I'll do it. I'll come out here and I'll criticize somebody sometimes. I try not to, but, I'll do it. Some of y'all
for objective analysis.
Yeah, trying to. And I hate to be like pointing the finger. I'm doing it. But some of y'all jump all over your message boards and go after. It could be Drew Brees, or it could be some other player, college player, whatever. Or you jump on my text line, like what happened earlier here, and you say, Drew Brees looks like he's scared. He looked like he was scared. That's what you do. You've all done it. And let me tell you something. For 2 weeks, 3 weeks, the man's been playing with broken ribs on both sides of his chest. He played in the game yesterday with a punctured lung. And somebody, the gall to come in here and type, he's scared. Half the time, not all the time, half the time, when people make those comments, they are scared to do it under their own name. Drew Brees isn't, and never has been, and never will be, scared. You hear me? He's 10 times the warrior the rest of us are. That's what he is. He's an absolute warrior. Broken ribs on both sides of his chest and a punctured lung. And, said he came out of the game. Wouldn't admit it was because of pain. Said it was because his body simply wouldn't do it. And he would be ineffective.
I was not going to be able to be effective. It had nothing to do with pain. It was simply just what my body was going to be able to do or not be able to do.
The man has a punctured lung and stayed on the sideline because he didn't want to go to the locker room. Fans and their fat little Cheeto-covered fingers typing up criticism on their phones. You can say whatever you want. You know that whole thing of sticks and stones might break my bones? It didn't break his bones. No, big 320-pound defensive lineman broke them. And 99% of y'all that have typed criticism about him and commented criticism about him and talked about him on these message boards don't have the single solitary teeny tiny bit of guts to even try it, let alone be any good at it. Broken ribs, punctured lung. And guess what? He's not done. Try that on. He's not necessarily done. We just don't know how long he's going to be out. The man has broken ribs on both sides of his chest, a punctured lung. Told the coach, I need to come out of the game because I'll be ineffective. Did he go to the locker room to get meds? No. He cheered on his team in uniform for 2 quarters. He's an absolute warrior. But you type away your criticism. You jump on your message board. You go right ahead under a fake name and talk about somebody else's guts. You wouldn't know guts if they poured them on you. One more quick thing. According to Patrick McGee, we heard about this last week, and then he didn't play this weekend. It's a fact. Quarterback Jack Abraham at Southern Miss is moving on. Says he and the Southern Miss coaching staff have parted ways. Jack is what, a 5th-year player, senior, but he's got an extra year basically. Like this is a free year. So
he missed 2 weeks ago with a concussion and was supposed to be back last week. Practiced last Wednesday with the team, and according to the concussion protocols, everything that the coaches were saying, he was doing well. But Thursday he decided that he was going to pull the plug.
Yeah,
and it just didn't feel right to him.
Okay, so he's done at Southern Miss, and so Jack Abraham going to sit out the rest of the year and probably look to transfer. And he can play. You're talking about a veteran guy who's thrown for like 10,000 yards or whatever it is, a bunch of them anyway at Southern Miss in his career. And he'd be a good fit, for an offense that needs a veteran to go in there and throw it around for a year. He'd be a good fit. You can read about
like
that.
A Minshew.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact is, a guy like Jack Abraham, he's seen everything you could possibly see in terms of blitz and all that kind of stuff, and a senior that has been in the shotgun throwing it around a bunch in his career, has seen a lot of pressure too. So he'd actually be a fit for an air raid type thing, going there and play for a year, but have to compete to win it. You want to read about that situation, you can. Patrick McGee's coverage over at sunherald.com. Patrick does a really fine job, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinions also. Okay, here is, I'm going to get into the LSU story and kind of recap that for you. First, real quick, a couple things on the Country Pleasing text line during the Drew Brees rant. Louvier Yeah, I got the link. I'd seen that just before that, so thanks for sending it. I know you're a big Saints fan, wishing Drew well. Squez said, can I get an amen? Bill said, get a Matt. Gatorman says, that is insane, having had broken ribs before. That's unbelievable. Gatorman, I'm telling you, I've had bruised ones. Mine weren't even broken. And I'm telling you, you get to a point where you just don't want to take a deep breath at all. Buddy, listen.
Look, man, I'll tell you this, Matt, from many years of visiting people in the hospital, one of the biggest things that people will tell you to overcome, is open heart surgery. And it's not so much what they do to your heart. It's when they break your ribs.
That's right.
Your sternum to crack you open like a pecan.
That's right. And peel them back.
Yeah. They say that is the definitely the hardest thing to overcome after open heart surgery. So there you have it.
Phoenix.
I'm not a doctor, and I did not stay in a Holiday Inn experience.
Phoenix says, touche, Matt. However, I will say you called him a warrior when he won the Super Bowl. I was in Iraq, the desert, fighting terrorists. Thanks, Phoenix. Yes. Can we say fairly enough different classifications of warriors? One, there's the playing a sport kind, and the other, there's life and death kind. Shooting, being shot at. Two different planes, no question. Real heroes, brother. My hat's off. Bill in Madison said, I'd be dead if I got hit as hard as Breeze got hit yesterday. Previously broken ribs or not. All right. So what is in this story about LSU? I'm going to kind of skim through some of the details that are here. JB, I'm assuming you sent it to me also. I'm assuming you got a chance to read through all of it.
Yeah.
So you can maybe add, if I miss anything, just let me know.
Yeah, it almost comes out like one of these conspiracy theory cases where these journalists are putting together months and months and months
of cover up.
Yeah, well, yeah, and just the actions that were, cover up, I guess would be the best word.
Okay.
Or best phrase.
Alex Scarborough, ESPN, they are all reporting on what is a USA Today report today. Came out today. It says this, several LSU officials had knowledge of sexual assault allegations made against former running back Darius Geis and other former football players, and either ignored those complaints or denied the victim's request for protection. Okay, if you stop right there, let's go back to what we talked about earlier. There never has been, there never will be, there never is any excuse whatsoever for somebody in a position of leadership to either A, ignore a complaint of sexual assault, or B, deny the victim a request for protection. There is never an excuse.
Right, excuse me for interrupting you, but it's not just sexual assault in all cases on this particular deal. There are some serious domestic battery and physical issues that were happening. So not only were they, the rape issues and sexual allegations, some of these guys are beating the crap out of women.
All right. Okay, so it says the report also cites 3 cases in which football players were found responsible for sexual assault and were allowed to stay on campus, receiving deferred suspensions, which amounts to probation. All right, the report goes into detail of assault allegations made against former wideout Drake Davis. Okay, those were made by an LSU tennis player. This included the allegation that the victim's tennis coach, Mike Sell, was informed that the receiver, Drake Davis, had punched the woman in the stomach. Okay, but they're saying that Sell, the coach, did not report the assault to the school or to the Title IX coordinator. This report says that LSU, and here's a quote, sat on the information for months while Drake Davis continued to assault and strangle her. In 2018, Davis was arrested on second-degree battery charges and was indefinitely suspended by the team. In that arrest warrant in 2018, it said that Davis, who had enrolled at Southern University in Baton Rouge in October the next year, was alleged to have committed battery on a woman that he was dating on 4 occasions over the period of basically a year. 2 different women, 1 guy. During his time at LSU, he did something, apparently did it again, after LSU covered it up. Why was it covered up? In the USA Today report, at least 9 football players, including Geis and Davis, have been reported to police for sexual misconduct and dating violence since Ed Orgeron was promoted to interim head coach in 2016. Later promoted to full-time head coach. So today, he had a press conference, regularly scheduled Monday press conference for Ed Orgeron. He read a prepared statement. You know, you'll see it here a million times if you follow sports, okay? Quote, first, I want to say that we need to support and protect victims of violence and sexual abuse of any kind. You know, what I want, Coach O, is I want you to actually support and protect victims of violence and sexual abuse of any kind. And then when you say it in a statement, it will mean something. He finished he went on, he talked about Title IX offense. He said, I have in the past and will continue to take appropriate action and comply with reporting protocols. I have confidence today that the university is working to address our policies and processes when allegations arise. And then he said, that's all I'm going to say about it. Current players defending Coach O. Current punter Zach Von Rosenberg. He's really good, by the way. Neither here nor there to this, but he tweeted, quote, I felt obligated to defend my coach because we had team meetings about nearly every incident. Quote, most of these players were either dismissed or removed from the team. The others, I don't know all the details, but what I do know is my coach would do the right thing. So that was from one player. So now you could go on and on about allegations, but here's what is in here, okay? I'm going to give the details. USA Today previously reported on allegations made against Geis. We talked about those 2-3 months ago. He was accused of rape by 2 former LSU students. According to the latest report, LSU acknowledged formally disciplining 2 of the 9 athletes accused of sexual misconduct and dating violence. That'd be Drake Davis and former quarterback Peter Parrish. Parrish was accused of rape outside of a bar this year. He was suspended indefinitely, and then he announced that he was transferring to Memphis. LSU has an attorney on the case, as you would know. His name is Johanna Posada. He confirmed to USA Today that 4 athletes were not disciplined. Safety Grant Delpit. He was accused of recording some things during an encounter with a woman and sharing the video with others. Running backs Tay Pruvens, linebacker Jacob Phillips, and tight end Zach Sheffer, who were all accused of rape. Those were not disciplined. That's what's in this story.
Evidently, it's a problem for Geis because, I mean, in August 7th, and you see it in the article, he was arrested for 3 separate domestic assault against 3 different women in Virginia.
Right. And that was as a member of the Washington football team.
Right. So evidently, he does not know how to respect the person of the opposite sex.
Right. It's a... here's the thing about it. We look at, 9 individuals all accused, and one player saying we had meetings about all these incidents, and it becomes, I think, tough on the outside looking in. What we're doing is reading details in a report. And I think, JB, I'm like you. You can look at the case of Adarius Geis, who ultimately gets himself arrested, and it's not one incident. It's several. It's 4, it's 5 different incidents over the course of 4 or 5 years. That's one thing. That's a pretty obvious deal. There are cases where you've got this one out of the blue thing where someone accuses somebody of something. You read what's being accused, and if you step back, you go, well, this has to play out because it could be false. You don't know. There's no way to for sure know. And then sometimes you come back later and a guy's moved on or had his career interrupted, and it turns out they dropped the charges or those kinds of things. I just think that in this deal, all it takes is one instance of, for me, people in a position of leadership to know about something like this, like in the case of the tennis player and the receiver Drake Davis. But you have to wonder, what is going through the head of an administrator or coach or somebody if there's any delay whatsoever in dealing with it, in reporting it, in taking it to the Title IX coordinator, in going to the president, in going to law enforcement? Why? What could possibly motivate them to delay or not go report it, investigate it?
Especially with what's happened on the, campuses like Michigan State and Penn State.
Yeah, exactly. Stick around.
Through multiple election cycles, football seasons, holidays, and birthdays,
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with auto pay and paperless billing. Even without auto pay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country Pleasin' sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasin' sausage, countrypleasin.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from it. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasin', please.
lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wyatt stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Hey, are you buying land or selling it? You need to let Matt Anderson with National Land Realty help you out. Matt Anderson Properties. Here's what Matt can do. If you're buying land, you can view the property without ever setting foot on it. They've got the 360-degree interactive drone touring. It's really cool. You got to check it out. And if you're selling property, Matt's going to get you consistent reports, comprehensive reports of who's looking, how many people looked at your listing. You need to let him help you. Matt Anderson Properties with National Land Realty. Call him, 601-408-5155. Hey, if you listen to the show, you know that the new third hour of the Matt Wyatt Show is brought to you by Overstreet Properties in Starkville. Here's what you need to know. If you're looking for a weekend home or condo, full-time residence, investment property, maybe just an apartment to lease, you got a student going to school at State, call Kane Overstreet at Overstreet Properties. In Starkville, it's 323-8618, or look them up online, overstreetproperties.com.
But he's right here, right now. Online at 1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9, The Zone.
Okie doke. Here we are. Here we go. Rolling along with you, Hour 3, presented by Overstreet Properties in Starkville. Overstreetproperties.com. Anything residential. You moving up there, going up several weekends, need a condo, maybe a student leasing an apartment, anything like that. Go to Overstreet Properties. Find the contact info, overstreetproperties.com. That'll work. That'll work. Yeah, I had this for you earlier. So, Drew Brees for the Saints, cracked ribs, both sides, and a punctured lung. Mm-hmm. Warrior, man. Tried to play through it. Gets hit. No dice. And he's not even done. He's like, I'll be back in a couple of weeks. Hopefully. It's just crazy what they do, man. I mean, it really is crazy what they do. Hey, Saints fans, don't look now, but Tampa won big. You see that? Beat up on the Panthers.
A lot of mental toughness from the guys this week. And, BA just said from the beginning, like, there's no excuses. We got delayed. He was frustrated by it, but whatever, got in at 11:30 and, dealt with the storm earlier in the week, but we were just focused on coming out and doing a better job and, played better than we played last week, obviously. And it's in there. We just got to do it consistently and continue to make plays and run the ball like we ran it today. The line did a great job, and then keep getting the ball to the guys who can make plays with it. And there were a lot of guys spread it around quite a bit today. And it's going to have to keep improving, getting better. And we got a huge game coming up Monday night.
Yeah.
Monday night?
He made me mad yesterday. He cost me my win in my fantasy league.
Mm-hmm. You know whose fault that is?
That's his. Because he played like last week.
He was just setting you up.
Yeah, I started Alex Smith. I like Alex Smith.
And what a story.
Yeah.
What a story. Yeah. All right, so tonight on Monday Night Football, it is Vikings-Bears. You can say what you want. That's a pretty cool Monday night matchup, all right? The only way it'd be better, even though it's going to be about 28 degrees in Chicago tonight, would be if it's snowing. But it's not going to be snowing.
Or foggy.
Or foggy, yes. And so what? Tampa's on Monday Night Football next week? Yeah, that's right. They play the Monday night games hosting the Rams next week. Hey, speaking of Monday Night Football, I wonder what, like if John Gruden weren't coaching, if he were on Monday Night Football still, I wonder what he would say to Saints fans to calm them down here on this. Now, they won, but they don't know about Drew going forward. Let's check in on the Davini Equipment phone line. Davini Equipment, Madison and Jackson, a.k.a. Gruden. Coach, what's up?
Hey there, man. How you doing there, man? Tell you what, man. Drew Brees, man. Tell you what he reminds me of, man. Audie Murphy, man. Terrible movies and westerns, man. But I tell you what, man, he got shot a lot. But guess what? He still trudged on. I tell you what, man. Drew Brees, that's a soldier, man.
That's a soldier.
Tell you what, man.
Like he Audie Murphy was an actual World War II hero, but he did come back and make movies, and I guess he did get shot a lot in the movies.
Yeah, tell you what, man, he was a cool guy. Make terrible movies, but man, he was a cool guy.
Hey, Coach Gruden, congrats on your big win yesterday over the Broncos. Y'all really took it to them. Josh Jacobs, over 100 yards, couple TDs. Y'all looked pretty solid.
Yeah, thank you, man. We're doing pretty good. I tell you what, I was glad with how Josh Jacobs did, man. That was a Spider 2-wide Xbox 460. Reese's Puffs in my bowl. Yeah, man. Carry the 1, carry the 2, man. That's pretty good.
All right, before you go, Coach, any advice for Saints fans? They're all kind of on pins and needles wondering about Drew Brees going forward. You got any advice for them?
I tell you what, man. Saints fans, don't worry, man. You got some fairly good backups. Taysom Hill can go in there a little bit, man. But I tell you what, Drew Brees, I tell you what, man. He's like the Terminator, because guess what, man? He'll be back. Tell you what.
All right. Hey, Coach, give me that play call one more time. What was that play call again?
Okay. It was a Spider 2-wide, Xbox 460, Reese's Puffs in my bowl, yeah. Carry the 1, carry the 2. Tell you what, man, that play works every time, man.
Yes. A.K.A. Gruden, thanks for the call.
See you later, man.
See you later, man. Yes. Love it. Spider 2-wide banana. What else he say?
Xbox 460.
The Reese's Cups.
Reese's Puffs in my bowl. 1, carry the 2.
Reese's Puffs in my bowl. Carry the 1 and the 2. Love it. No, yes. All right. Rolling along with you here. It's always great to check in with, there we go, a.k.a. Gruden. Joey hanging on the Davini Equipment phone line, Davini Equipment, Madison and in Jackson, your Kubota dealer. What's up, Joey?
Hey, Matt, this situation saddens me to hear of young ladies being assaulted like that. We have a culture where we're trying to teach young ladies how not to be assaulted. I got a better idea, Matt. Why don't we start teaching men to not assault women?
I mean, no question.
We don't teach that in our culture. We don't teach it on college campuses. We want to pretend it doesn't happen, right up until one's wife or daughter or sister or something is the victim. And I think as me and Matt, there's not, we don't have the gear to understand the trauma that causes to someone for the rest of their life. And the consequences have got to be way more severe than just being simply kicked off the football team. They got to be way more severe than that. And like you were saying, how can you know about something like that and not? You gonna think there's a fire wherever I am, and I'm gonna be running from that fire to go and let every person who matters know immediately.
Yeah, right. See, that's
There's
the thing.
Nothing more important than that.
You know, and I would say, Joey, like the way you started the call, like I think everybody agrees with that. I do think, having been through it, I just know, again, now I'm an old guy now, and I was in school 20 years ago playing ball, and as a football player, we were constantly sitting in presentations and meetings every preseason, during the season, in the winter, 1 or 2 times in the off-season spring, where they would have these things where somebody would come in and speak about domestic violence, about how you treat women, about basically just. I just remember as a player, we were constantly having people come speak to us, where they would bring them in, the coaches would bring them in and try to hammer it in there. I think some places are trying to do what they can, but to your point, there is also, like, you reach a threshold where you kind of have to depend on the system to filter this story up to the people it's got to get to, whether it's law enforcement or whoever. And Joey,
no doubt about that.
I agree with you 100% that
not good.
That's it. If there's a breakdown in the process of people looking into this when they're supposed to look into it, now we got a problem. And that's what it looks like has gone on at LSU. Joey, we're out of time on this. I appreciate the phone call, man.
Right, man.
Thank you. That's it. You put the protocols in place, and man, you don't deviate by 1 millisecond, let alone a month. Stick around.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with auto pay and paperless billing. Even without auto pay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country Pleasin' sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasin' sausage, countrypleasin.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from them. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasin', please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wyatt stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial.
Proudly required to present more of the Matt Wyatt Show.
We have another totally awesome episode for you today.
And it's streaming right now online at thezone1059.com and on your radio on ESPN 105.9. The Zone. And
Back. Well, it has started. I thought I had gotten out of this when I got rid of Dish and I cut the cord and went to like the online streaming services. Welcome back to the show. I'm Matt in the Farm Bureau studio, Farm Bureau Insurance. Go! With the home team, Farm Bureau Insurance, your local hometown heroes. That's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. I just got an email from Hulu. Hulu, one of the streaming services we subscribe to. And it says, as we continue to refine the Hulu plus live TV experience, we're reaching out to let you know the price of your Hulu plus live TV plan will increase, and it's going up by $10 a month beginning on Friday, December the 18th. So it's going up by $10 a month. Well, what's the reason for that? That's not what I signed up for. Now, Hulu's really good. It works well. They just, out of the blue. See, that's what Dish used to do. Hey, we're just letting you know we're bumping this up a little bit, okay? And I know you're going to put up with it because you want to watch your games this weekend, so just letting you know. It's out of the blue, $10 more. Why? What is it? Who went up? Can I cancel just them? I like what I have now. I want to stay the same. Don't move the cheese. Leave it where it is. Yeah, gummit. Hey, JB, we were talking about, now this is not a violence, not a, what do we call it, domestic violence, man and woman deal. This is a little different, but how sometimes you wonder, like, well, did they get it right? Did they get it wrong? You see that story about DeAndre Baker, the former Georgia corner, first-round draft pick of the Giants a couple of years ago? Well, here it is. The Broward State Attorney's Office has dropped all charges against former New York Giants cornerback DeAndre Baker. Baker was being prosecuted on 4 counts of robbery with a firearm. He was originally charged with 4 counts of armed robbery. and 4 counts of aggravated assault with a firearm. For allegedly, they accused him of taking jewelry and cash at gunpoint during a dice game in Miramar, Florida, back in May. He's 23 years old. The Giants told him to stay away from the team while they handled all this legal stuff. They put him on the commissioner's exempt list and released him this summer. Right now, he's a free agent.
He's hanging out with Darius guys.
Well, but here's the thing. Yeah, hanging out in the same place. But here's the thing. This guy's innocent.
Yeah.
The case fell apart when the opposing attorney in South Florida this morning
this is something.
Was arrested for attempting to extort DeAndre Baker on behalf of 3 of the alleged victims. This guy's name is William Dean. He is an attorney. He was trying to get DeAndre Baker to pay more than $266,000 to each of his clients, who in turn would, quote, do anything you want so long as the money is right. The result is the correct result in dismissing DeAndre's case, according to his attorney. We have been saying he was a victim of an extortion from day one. All charges dismissed. Meanwhile, release, cut, sent packing by the team that drafted him in the first round?
Yeah, so should they not accept their mistake and say, we want you back?
Well, he's a free agent.
And would you go back knowing that they didn't believe you?
Yeah.
You know.
See, it involved another NFL guy, too. According to the original arrest warrant, Baker and Seahawks corner Quentin Dunbar. They were accused of stealing money and watches while armed with semi-automatic firearms. Okay. The victims have already recanted their statements last month in affidavits.
See, I think those people that do that, they should have to do some kind of, I'm not saying throw them in jail, but give them some kind of community service. Make them get on the interstate and pick up trash.
These guys, Julius Lamar, Stephen Compton, and Tommy J. Hartshaw, said during recent depositions that DeAndre Baker, quote, did not directly or indirectly participate in any robbery or assist in any robbery at the scene or elsewhere. The 3 men added that they didn't see Baker rob or assault anyone with or without a firearm. Now, the state attorney's office, as they drop all charges against DeAndre Baker, say this: the alleged victims and the known witnesses have become uncooperative and their credibility is inalterably tarnished. This guy drafted in the first round, and now they've got the attorney in jail, well, maybe he's bailed out. They arrested him. They got him basically captured on tape saying, you get the money right, we'll move on. Mm-hmm. Yep.
You sound a little like Carl right then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's tough.
Mustard on your taters.
Let's see here. The Rebel Rex on the Country Pleasing text line says, what troubles me in this mess is the NCAA. It took 5 years on campus to bury Freeze. Baylor is basically raping girls in the locker room, and the NCAA is done in what did it say, under a month. Got to quit only punishing the little guys. That's from Rebel Rex. The Phoenix says, Matt, the price hikes with Hulu are Joe Biden's fault. That quick? Man, that was fast. I don't care whose fault it is. I'm not paying it. I'll just drop it. There's plenty of other streaming services. We kind of like Sling because Annabeth gets a Hallmark Channel on there. So we like Sling. We may just do that one.
Yeah, I'm banished to my bedroom now each night that I come home, and the TV's already captured by my wife because it's Hallmark Channel season.
Yeah, it sure is. Christmas
last
movies.
Night when I got home, can I watch some of the game after this movie's over? Well, can you not go to the bedroom and watch the movie in there? No.
Nope.
I was watching it first in here.
Telling you, man, our society has been turned upside down.
Yeah.
Did your mom tell your dad to get lost and she controlled the remote? Nope.
No, my mom would bring like ice cream, cereal, and stuff to my dad as he sat in his chair and watched whatever he wanted.
She's fattening him up.
Yeah.
She didn't want him to be able to catch her if she took off running.
Oh, my dad could eat half a gallon of Bluebell a night. He just loaded up. Matter of fact, we got a gift for our wedding. I never will forget this. It was one of these serving bowls, right?
Yeah.
And my dad walks up at the wedding reception. He goes, well, that's a nice bowl there you guys got for your home. And my wife looks at him and she said, yeah, but it's not going to be your ice cream bowl.
That's great. She knew what he was thinking.
Oh, yeah.
So, playoffs are going to continue in the MHSAA. We'll get into who won, who plays next. We'll do all that tomorrow. This is going to be championship week, though, for private schools in the MAIS. So Thursday, the Class 2A championship game will be played at Jackson Academy. 2A is at 3 o'clock at JA. It'll be Manchester versus Riverdale. 5A, it'll be at 7 o'clock on Thursday. That's going to be Adams versus Leak, 12-0 Leak. Friday at JA, 11 a.m., you'll have Class 1A MAIS. It's Briarfield versus Tallulah. Class 4A will take place Friday at 2:30 at JA. It's going to be Riverfield versus Wayne Academy. And then Class 3A on Friday night, 7 o'clock, Greenville Christian versus Carroll Academy. 10-1 versus 11-0. And then the big one on Saturday at Mississippi Veterans Memorial Stadium in Jackson, 1 p.m. on Saturday. MRA 11-0 versus JA 10-3.
Yeah, that pregame will air here on WRKS 105.9 ESPN The Zone at 12:45 on Saturday.
Okay, so about 15 minutes before kick, pregame, y'all tune in, and boy, that ought to be something. It is going to be something.
Ought to be a good one.
Very cool that it's happening over at Veterans Memorial also.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait. I won't get to see it. I'll be listening in as I probably travel over to Athens unless something changes between now and then. And then
you're not going to go over and back in one day, are you, pal?
No, because the game's at 6:30 on Saturday night. So
I was going to say I'd have to ride with you to keep you safe.
Yeah. Jasper was asking on the live stream, he said, hey, Matt, what high school game did you go to this past Friday? I did not go to one. You know, we were thinking about it. All the plans got changed because at about 3 o'clock on Friday afternoon, we learned that Warren Central Tupelo was canceled because of Tupelo's COVID issue. So I did not, it was just too short notice to get in touch with the school and kind of get everything lined up. So we didn't have one this past week. But we will have a big one coming up. I promise you that. Work is ongoing. Stay tuned. JB, good job today, man. Thank you.
Thank you, pal. Enjoyed it.
Yep, same here. Enjoyed it. Thanks for listening, y'all. We'll see you same time, same place on Wednesday. See you then.